Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fire Emblem Blazing Sword Let's Play. Today it is being just me because, well, funny enough, while I'm recording this, at the moment I'm recording this, it's quite late at night and everyone else is asleep and I just felt like, I feel like talking, so we're getting on with the Let's Play. And I also want to do it because of things that have happened over the past month, this Let's Play has been very disjointed with the upload schedule, and it's been before the part with Zane that I uploaded just recently, we had to wait 6 days for the next one, but that was because I was so focused on the Xenoblade video, I wanted to put all my effort into it, and based on everyone's reaction, it seems to have paid off, and I am very happy, but also because I'm on holiday the other time, and still got the builders in, the schedule's been very iffy, so I'm trying to just keep it moving. I mean, it does kind of suck that Olivia or Zane aren't here, but, if the comments have told me anything, I can still keep the things going by myself, even without the Q&A session, which will happen towards the end, but not right now. We're not quite at the end just yet. We've got a bit more left to go. And funny enough, as we speak, the next part that you've probably already seen by now, it's only got 10 minutes left in uploading, so yeah, again, I just sporadically felt like talking about this Let's Play. But speaking of which, so we're now at the Dragon's Gate, and this is where the story starts to really kick in and stuff starts to become real. Because Ninian is actually the one needed for the Dragon's Gate, as she has the power to call dragons, and they basically want her. Both her and Nils do, but if I remember, Nils escaped, and they just generally want Ninian more, I think, because either Ninian is better at doing it, or she's just easier to capture. And, it's this guy again. And now he's got his hood up. And you can see those very, 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 very potent yellow eyes. And he keeps, I swear to God, there's one thing I've noticed about Fire Emblem games. It's always the villains. They always make things so much more difficult for the heroes just because they could warp everywhere. Like Black Knight had warp powder, even Lacane had a re-warp staff, and here they just warp, and Leon just warps and warps and warps. I swear to God, if the heroes of Fire Emblem could warp to places, every Fire Emblem game would have been so much easier. I'm just trying to think, let's say Path of Radius is we have to take down Ash, that Ike just warps and stabs him in the back. Oh, that's done. Or it's in Awakening. It's we have to climb to Grimmer and take him down. Chrom just warps right to Grimmer's face and stabs him. Or I think what would be best is if say you're doing Conquest and Garen's alright, we have to invade Hoshido. We're going to take it by siege and then storm the front. And Corrin goes, actually, I've been to the Hoshido castle. I've been to the throne of Hoshido. We could just warp there. Good idea, Corrin. I like your thinking. And then they just warp there and take over. And then Garen sits on the throne and he's like, oh shit, this is a bad idea. But then that would be weird because you'd be stuck with a really low level Corrin trying to fight a maxed out Garen. But considering Corrin is based on a certain overpowered anime protagonist, the fight will probably go something like this.
Hex mode on!
What? This doesn't even make sense.
GG no re!
So anyway, yeah, because Thingy-Majig can warp this left, right, and center, he just takes Ninian and warps away, and I swear to God, I don't know, why is it bad guys are the only ones who know how to warp? Wouldn't it be really awesome if you had a Fire Emblem Dark Mage who knew that same thing and that could warp? Imagine, oh God, if Faja could warp, Robin would not be able to escape. It's literally, no matter where he travels to, Faja will be there. And, whatever his name was, Darren, he's gone completely batshit at this point. He's still under the impression of the whole thingamajig. And, Mr. Nagal being the evil thing that he is. Funny enough, with Nagal, if you actually unlock all the, extra stuff for him, you find out he's actually quite tragic. Because on the face value, he just comes off as more really evil, which isn't a bad thing, because that's what I like about Nagal. He's one of the more, I'm just an evil bastard Fire Emblem villain, and I love it. But there is more depth to him if you do read into it, and it is quite interesting. That's why he is one of the best villains. But I don't know, even without that, I still think he works just because sometimes what makes a really good villain is not so much they have to be super complex or tragic. I mean, to be fair, that does make the best ones. But when you got characters like Nagal, and a good example for Metal Face from Xenoblade, they just love to be so evil and they're so malicious, but you love them. And Jafar's, oh, for God's sake. Every time he appears on screen, somebody dies. No matter where Jafar appears, you will die. No matter who it is, no matter how obscure, no matter how long he's on screen for, somebody is going to die. I suppose it's the second time that Thingy's been injured by someone. Every time you defiles him, it's just stabbed in the back. Yeah, so as you can see, things are getting kind of serious. And this sprite, I think I've seen it in like, I think you see it in like Binding Blade, so it wouldn't surprise me. But he looks like he's the one generic soldier that got screen time. It's like, alright, I've got one line of dialogue, I'm going to make it count, because his sprite does not look very unique. Again, he's got the helmet and everything, and the only thing that's different is that his eyes are showing. He just lifted up the face mask, that's all. So, now that Nini has been captured, we have to go save her. And what's my opinion on this chapter? It's pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's overly challenging, but they have quite a lot of enemies, and because of the way the level's structured, this is quite the dogpile chapter. But the chapter itself, it's not too big. There's definitely a lot of different places to go, and it does encourage you to split up armies and think, you know, who are the best units to tackle this, that, and the other. And you're going to get respawning units and all that jazz, so you do have to think quite a bit. I think it's overall pretty cool. It's not too hard because the enemies aren't very difficult. Like, even the paladin that goes to fight you, he's not hard. I will say, though, if you want to get everything in this chapter, which I'll get into later, then it becomes a little bit of a hassle, because there are like, there's just like 2 secret shops, you have to recruit another character, and you got to travel like all quite a bit to get everything. But that's only if you want to get everything. If not, then it's perfectly fine. It's definitely not bad. I like it. I wouldn't say it's in my top 10 Blazing Sword chapters. And then watch how I do a video top 10 Blazing Sword chapters. Like, okay, I take back my statement. This is one of my favorites. But for what it is, I think it's overall pretty damn cool. I enjoy it. I don't know how everyone else feels. The boxed in nature, I reckon, could annoy some people because it kind of it's less so much about strategy, just more, hey, I've got this one. It's like, hey, Hex, just put Hexa there, something like that. Oh yeah, this bit was I was deciding who to fight that archer with, because I think Lucius can kill him, but at the same time he'd take a fuck ton of damage. Yeah, he'd be left on 1 HP, but it's worth the risk because Lucius is awesome. But oh god, and with that one shot, Lucius has an arrow sticking out of his back, and he's like, "Someone please help me, Sarah, heal me." No. Why? Because I'm jealous of the fact that you're going to overtake me as healer at one point. You bitch! I'll get you for this one day. Thank goodness Priscilla's here. The wonderful, wonderful Priscilla. So, yeah, we've got another unit coming up later, and what's level? While these aren't very impressive level ups, compared to Sarah, it's like getting RNG blessed, because I swear Sarah's level ups have been so bad. She's the one unit who's been RNG screwed in this playthrough, because everyone else is just, like, as you've seen, everyone else is just, you know, this game is RNG blessed the game. Binding Blade may have had one unit, but this game, it's every fucking unit. Ellenwood, especially Lynn, kinda Hector, Lucius, Raven, everyone's getting RNG blessed. RNG blessings for everyone. Oh man. It'd actually be interesting to see a Fire Emblem game where the unit level growths are overall really low, like say Echoes or something, or the original Gaiden, and people just get RNG blessed. They get like so many level ups, it's like they become disgusting. It's like, how are you this strong? I got RNG blessed in the game that shouldn't be, where no one should be RNG blessed. Speaking of which, I don't think anyone in Echoes, when I played it, ever got RNG blessed. Some people got like good level ups, like +4 overall, but I don't think anyone ever got RNG blessed. They were just overall good units. Like, I would say Matilda got RNG blessed, but then remember, no, she just comes in with really good base stats. So yeah. And I've yet to see anyone in... No, Genealogy is like the worst case defender where you can get blessed against like 5 level ups, and then you can go 2 levels and get 0. It's not uncommon in Genealogy. It is not uncommon to get like 0 level ups. But yeah, that was back then when Fire Emblem was starting out and growth rates were pretty damn low. Oh, we got another nameless soldier. Oh, we got a dude in purple hair and a scar on his face. Looks mysterious. Yeah, that's Legal, who we're going to get later and I'll talk more about him there. And this guy's a new recruit. Oh, well, newish recruit. So Legal uses his play on words to woo him and pretty much just, you know, go about his business. Because Legal's one of the more interesting characters because he is a member of the Black Fang. Some of his reports are cool because you get to see insight into them and how the Black Fang was formed. Because what's interesting about the Black Fang is that, oh, even though I've gone on about him being evil, they only really became evil when, like, Nagalo took over. Because before that, they took, like, riches and stuff, but they took and stole from people. But it was only those who were rich, like those who had enough. If it was people who were poor, they didn't bother with them because they're just trying to get by. So for them, it was quite cool. And as you can see, some of the bosses, the people part of the Black Fang do have that sense of honor about them. So, seeing that, and Legal does give insight into that because he was there for a while, so he knows what went on in the background. And again, it had, I know I love to use this phrase a lot, but it adds that moral grey to Fire Emblem, where the bad guys aren't just evil, they all just have their motives. Again, they did this very well in Binding Blade, they do it well in Sacred Stones, and Black Fang does it well here. I mean, it's not the best, BlazEPlays isn't the best when it comes to portraying this, but it does its job well. I don't know which... No, I think Path of Radiance is the game that does it best with Moral Grey, because not only does it show Dane as not straight up evil, but it also shows Crimea as being kind of dickheads too, especially that one bit in Blood Runs Red where they all, like, hate the Lagoos, so again, at the end of it, no one's perfect, and even then, some of the Dawn Brigade, not the Dawn Brigade, can't mention Dawn Brigade in Path of Radiance, would be shunned. Some of the Grail mercenaries, like Soren, doesn't really like the Lagoos. Shinon is straight up racist. Jill, for a big while, was racist. So it is pretty, I think Path of Radiance is the best when it comes to showing moral grey, and which is why it's one of my favourite Fire Emblem games. I think it has one of the better stories, because it does hit that balance very nicely. Other games do it as well. I mean, I think, well, alright, Face is probably the worst, but every Fire Emblem game shows it to an extent. Some are better than others. I think Path of Radiance is probably the best. Even Echo... Did Echoes do it kind of well? Well, Echoes did it in... I think Echoes' one was more a case of... less about moral grey, just how everyone had different beliefs, but no one was ever wrong about them. It's just that they all followed what they thought, and so you couldn't really, you couldn't really bash them for what they were doing too much. It's just that's just how they felt about things. They weren't necessarily in the wrong. You just didn't agree with them. I don't agree with you, but you're not exactly wrong. Imagine that bit in Fate Set on Limited Play, but just because you're right doesn't mean you're correct. It's like, what is it with Fate and saying some of the dumbest fucking lines ever? Like, the Archer class really is full of archers, or people die if they are killed. Not in casual mode, they don't. They come back a turn later. No, that's Phoenix mode. They come back at the end of the thingamajig. Oh, if only like every story worked on that logic. Like some of the saddest deaths ever. Oh, don't worry, come back at the end of the story. It'll be fine. If only, man. If only, a lot of stories would be very different. Also, another thing that's interesting to point out, even though this is chapter 19, if we played Hector hard mode and we got Nils to level 7 in Lynn's campaign, we would have done chapter 18 double X. Yeah, there's like a second Gaiden chapter, which I don't think they've ever done before, because usually, a Gaiden chapter is just one off, and, stuff like that. So, a double, that one is really interesting, but it's something you would, like, on your first couple playthroughs, you had no fucking clue to do, because leveling up dancers isn't like usually, I don't know about the rest of you, but leveling up dancers isn't that exactly a priority for me in Fire Emblem. I just use them whenever I need to use them. I don't like grind out turns just trying to level them up. If I need a unit to move, I'll let them move and stuff like that. I won't purposely take 50 turns of chapter just to level them up, because half the time, the level up's only really help for like their evasion and stuff. And even then, they shouldn't be fighting in the first place. They shouldn't be getting shot at in the first place. I mean, with other characters it's different, like leveling up Olivia or Azora because they can fight, but that's just them. And, again, Hector's getting the good levels now, but his strength is still behind Lynn's, which, again, I don't know how that works. Don't ask me how it works. If this playthrough's been very strange with its level ups, and by strange I mean it's just blessing every single person 4 ways from Sunday. Yeah, I can see what people mean. Oh, he's only doing 13 damage with his bow. If this was a thing, he'd be doing like 21 or something like that. He would have been doing a lot more. So I can see why people say bow units aren't that great. No, it all makes sense. Because for the longest time, I was like, why aren't bow units very good? It's like, it's not just about the unit levels. It's the fact that, only 2 times the damage. And funny thing is, I don't think it's bow units. I think it's all type of super effective weapons only do double damage rather than triple. Which is interesting. I think in any other Fire Emblem game that could have been a problem because those additional damages really hurt for like the harder enemies, but because Blazing Sword's more balanced, I think it's fine. Though again, it does make the Archer class overall weaker. because then it means, because most of the super effective things are situational, whereas archers, they have to use bows all the time. Unless they become a nomadic trooper, but there's only one of those in this game. If you're wondering, yes, I will be showing off Chapter 18 Double X for the Hector Hard Mode run. Speaking of Hector Hard Mode, I'm really tempted to, once this Let's Play is over and once I do Crash Bandicoot and maybe one more game, because I think Olivia wants to do something next, I'm not sure which. I want to know how you guys feel if we go from, instead of doing like a Sacred Stones next, we do Hector Hard Mode, because even though I haven't done Binding Blade Hard Mode, I've mentioned it many times in the past, Hector Hard Mode feels a lot more different. Like, again, there's new campaigns, new chapters, new perspective on things. So I reckon it's kind of like playing a different game, or at least it's like playing a new version of the game. Whereas with Binding Blade Hard Mode, it's kind of the same, it's just hard. If you guys are alright with that, because I have no problem playing Blades and Sword twice in a row, because I fucking love this game. So if you guys are okay with that, let me know in the comments if you're fine with just doing Hector Hard Mode, because I know a lot of people did want to see Binding Blade Hard Mode right after Thingamajig, and oh god, look at that, 18 damage with an iron sword. And oh god, I can't wait to see how strong she gets by the end of this playthrough. Though it would be ironic if that's all her level ups, once she becomes a Great Lord, are RNG screwed to balance her out. So that'd be interesting. But so let me know in the comments if you would like if you would prefer me to go straight to straight to Sacred Stones, or whether you play Hector Hard Mode. Because also remember, I'm using a completely different team as well, so you won't see the same units aside from the Lords. So it will be like kind of a new experience. So let me know in the comments what you think. Should I do Hector Hard Mode, or just go straight to Sacred Stones after that and do Hard Mode much later? Speaking of Let's Plays, you'll know that the Crash Bandicoot Let's Plays coming next. Something I might be doing, which you'll probably see like during the week or next week, is I might, because it's been kind of, this week's Let's Plays of this goes kind of awkward, and I'm trying to get Olivia in as much as possible. I might start the Crash Bandicoot LP just to go alongside this, because there are lots of other Let's Plays like Super Gamer Bros, Uncle with Johnny, who do multiple Let's Plays at once. So I think because this one's already like pre-recorded, I have to set up sessions, whereas the Crash Bandicoot 1, Olivia and I could just like say like one evening, just like, do you want to just play Crash Bandicoot, go into it, because it's a shorter game, it's much easier, and we don't have to like plan stuff out, and I don't have to like look up the units and stuff. There are no units in Crash Bandicoot, and I don't have to edit it like beforehand. So I might be, it depends on how I feel, we might be doing Crash Bandicoot during, like, while Fire Emblem 7's going along. It doesn't mean I'm cancelling 7, no, it's just I have something there to keep the pace of the channel uploads going still, just so everyone has something to look forward to at least each and every day. So we've always got content coming out, because again, this Let's Play has been a bit disjointed, so I think something to fill in that gap would be good. Oh yeah, something else I want to say about this chapter. One thing I will praise it for is the unit variety, because, they've got knights, they've got cavaliers, they've got nomads, they have mercenaries, they've got paladins, they've got dark mages, they've got thieves, and they've got archers and stuff. I gotta say, I do like the enemy variety here, because it encourages you more to use a varied team, but also be careful with who you put the choke points, because again, with like cavaliers, they have a variety of weapons, so you gotta make sure you send in the right people. And the game always keeps you guessing. You don't usually find yourself just sending in one particular unit just to tank everyone. You got to think a bit smarter than that. So props to Blazing Sword for doing that. I give credit given where credit is due, and Blazing Sword deserves a shit ton of credit because I love this game. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about. Okay, I have a lot to say about Fire Emblem Warriors in its current state of affairs. So, first thing I want to say about FE Warriors is, well, the trailers we saw, I know we mentioned this in the last part, but the trailers we saw at the Gamescom thing, Fire Emblem Warriors looks like a shit ton of fun. Like, I always knew it'd be kind of cool looking, like, the Xander gameplay impressed me, but then I just saw, like, Hanoka, Camilla, Takumi being shown off, and I was like, oh my god, this looks so good. I like how, like, even though they have mounted units, it doesn't look nearly as clunky as other Warriors games, where you ride like a horse or something like that. So that was really cool. It looks more flowing and seamless. And I just love how elaborate the attacks are. Like, again, they do such fancy shit. And the attacks also look a lot more varied, because something I do notice with Dynasty Warriors is that sometimes it's easy to just spam the same combo and it can get a bit repetitive. Here, like, when I saw Takumi and Camilla and playing about, I mean, not so much Hinoka, because the one person was spamming the one combo, but they were using loads of different combos and attacks, and I thought it was really fucking cool. I was like, Jesus Christ, that is awesome. So, Fire Emblem Warriors is like to be one of the most fun Warriors games, based on what I've seen, so I'm excited for that. It does look really, really, really cool. They've changed the voice actors again. Why can't Fire Emblem just stick to the same voice actors for more than one game? I have no idea. But the only one who stayed was Ike. As for the voice work, well, funny thing is, I know a lot of people complained about this. When I first heard Hinoka's voice, I honest to God really cringed. I was like, oh god, she sounds really fucking bad. But in game, she sounds much better. And even then, I think everyone else sounds fine. Like, Camilla sounds fine, Leo sounds fine, Takumi sounds fine. One thing I thought was hilarious, and I know someone mentioned this on Twitter, where in Camilla's trailer, they really didn't show her off in a sexy way, they just showed off kind of normal. I thought to myself, it really says something when a game being co-developed by Team Ninja has less focus on fan service than the game that the person's based from. I'm like, what kind of world are we living in where Team Ninja show more respect to Camilla than Fire Emblem does? Especially Heroes, I'm just like, this world is so backwards right now. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So, Warriors does look cool for the gameplay alone, but one thing again, I think, again, Max definitely pointed this out, they're showing, for every trailer and every gameplay demonstration, it's always the same level, the Hoshido one. And I'm like, guys, can you show off more? And again, limit these criticals. Because for what they have shown in Fire Emblem Warriors, we should know, honest to God, we know next to nothing about the game. Like, yeah, we've seen the Awakening cast. I mean, we've seen some of their levels in the trailers. We've seen the Fates cast, but we haven't seen any other game modes. We haven't really seen all of the mechanics they talked about being shown off. We haven't even seen that many. We've seen the Awakening characters and the Fates characters, but even then, we haven't seen all. I don't even know if that's all the Fates characters and Awakening characters, and we've seen next to no Shadow Dragon characters. So I'm just thinking Fire Emblem Warriors, you're coming out in a month and a bit. How much you've really got to show off more. Because there isn't much we know about the game, and all the stuff we do know is mostly negative press, for instance, the roster. And that brings me to a point about Fire Emblem Warriors. Honest to God, as much as the game looks fun and I will support it, I think it's going to be a financial flop. And let me tell you why. Okay, so for one thing, Nintendo's done a really, really crappy job at marketing it. Since, again, it's got not much trailers, there's not much hype for it, they're only showing off the same things, and most of the information they are showing off is stuff people don't want to see. Another point being, the roster is definitely putting people off, or the lack of roster. Again, it's not a massive deal with me, but I get where people are angry, and it will affect sales for some people. Again, if they can't play as these people, because that is one of the biggest draws, it's going to turn them off. I think being turned off completely just by the roster is a bit silly, but I'm not gonna say people are I can understand where people are coming from in this regard. I'm not gonna say they're stupid for doing so. I will say it's a bit petty, but it's not how do I put it? But it's not inconceivable. Yeah, I can get where people are coming from. Well, that's the thing that's hurting it, but also not only. I mean, the October release date thing is fine enough, but then I remember someone mentioning this, and I'm like, oh, Nintendo, you've just shot yourself in the fucking foot. Mario Odyssey comes out a week later, and I don't care how popular Fire Emblem has got in the last couple of years, or how much they promote this game, you're not going to outsell Odyssey, and when people have to make a choice between the two to get, some people will only be able to afford one game. Heck, if it was me, and I was only buying one game, I'd go with Odyssey. Warriors looks great, but Odyssey looks amazing. So I reckon a lot of the money that Warriors is going to lose a lot of money because of Odyssey. Because that's going to be the big game. It's got more hype, it looks better, it's a more recognizable brand. Mario Odyssey is probably just going to sweep the October and Christmas sales, and Warriors will most likely be left in the dust. And I wouldn't be surprised if Warriors overall is just I don't know how, Dynasty Warriors games don't usually sell loads of units, though Hyrule Warriors did sell pretty well, but I would not be surprised if Fire Emblem Warriors, I don't know if it would be it would either be a mediocre, a typical Dynasty Warriors success or a flop. I don't think it's going to be a big success. If I'm proven wrong, that's wonderful. But I think that's how it's going to go down. I don't think Fire Emblem Warriors is going to do particularly well. Sad as it is. But anyway, moving on to more lighthearted stuff, we have Legal, or Legalt, however you pronounce his name. So, as a unit, well, these drink. Legal's an overall very decent thief. He comes in with good speed, skill, and luck. That's the one thing Legal's got going for him. His luck growth is 60, and his HP and speed growth also 60, I think. So he's got really good luck, very good speed and HP. The rest of his skill's good. The rest of his options aren't particularly great. Like defense, resistance, strength, not particularly good. But to be fair, for a thief, he doesn't really need like defense. Resistance, I'm not surprised. Strength is a bit crappy, but it's no problem. Well, because he really wouldn't be doing much of fighting. Generally, Matthew's a better choice because of availability, especially in Hector hard mode. Also, Legal gets hard mode bonuses, but Legal's a perfectly fine choice if Matthew, in my case, didn't get too many great level ups. And by that, just mainly strength, or you just want to use him because he's cool. I remember I mentioned this in Thing, he was like, I put him as like, he was slightly underrated in my eyes, Legal, because he kind of gets overlooked because Jafar's really good and Matthew's most people gravitate towards. But Legal, I quite like. Again, he's got cool supports with other people. I like his design. I think as a unit, he can still be overall pretty strong. I think Legal is pretty cool. Yeah, and something that should be noted, until we get Jafar, Legal's going to be my go-to thief from now on. Because Matthew had his time in the sun, but I'm not digging his low strength. So I was like, you know what, Legal, you can just straight up be the forefront. And Lynn, she may have capped, but it doesn't going to stop her from killing. Lynn's crazy like that. So, as I was saying about Fire Emblem Warriors... Oh, I'm not going to just remember where I was left off. So I talked about the sales, lack of promotion and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm a bit sad about Warriors. I will be getting it. I'm going to pre-order my Switch sometime like late November, or order my Switch, not pre-order. And then pre-order Warriors so I can get it as early as possible. If you're wondering about the special edition, okay, I don't know, because I know it's in Japan, but I don't know if it comes out anywhere else. Will I be getting it? Probably not, because I'm trying to save as much time as I can just to get the Switch, so I'll probably just get the normal edition of Warriors. Plus, I got special edition Echoes, and I've been getting too many special editions recently, though I missed out on the Metroid one, which makes me sad because I'm really excited for that game. I want that game so badly. What was I going to say? I find it funny that with speed and strength are both equal, and generally always are. In this playthrough, at least. The special edition does look pretty cool because you get the free CD soundtrack, which I feel would be remixes of the 3 separate games. Like, I reckon they'll put Shadow Dragon and its own original score on a CD. They'll put Fate's remixes and what's its name remixes on the CD. The Fates and Awakening on separate CDs, which I do look forward to. I hope they put in a lot more tracks from Fates and Awakening because those are two of my two favorite Fire Emblem soundtracks. I mean, all soundtracks are wonderful. If we have more games, we could have, we could have fucking Echo soundtrack, and that'd be amazing. And Atelia's, oh god, if they had Atelia's soundtrack. But, so I do look forward to the remixes. Speaking of soundtrack and music, I'm wondering, why have they not showed off Azora yet? I'm seriously wondering that. Like, of all the Fates characters, you have yet to show off Azora. I don't know if they're purposely keeping as much hidden from as possible, but honest to God, Warriors, you need to show us more. You're keeping us in the dark so much about this game. And I know it's not good to show everything, but we need something else we need something to chew on. And you're really giving us nothing. And what you are giving us isn't the best thing in the world. So, yeah, I probably won't be getting a special edition, but it does look cool. Also, you get a model Dragonstone, and that's pretty fucking awesome. I don't know how much it goes for, but it'll probably be like, if it did colors come out, it would be like 70 plus. And I don't know if I have the money for that, because again, I really want to focus on saving up for the Switch and other things. And now we're going to take down this dumbass with Hector. It's like a dumbass versus a hardhead. This is going to be an interesting fight. Speaking of day one stuff, this is what I want to ask you guys, because I plan to really jump on Fire Emblem Warriors, make videos about it for the main channel, but also, I want to do Let's Plays and live streams, but what do you think would be better to do? Do a Let's Play straight away and just, record the parts, edit them, put them together, or do a live stream of the game and just go in completely blind and have my raw reaction to it? Would you prefer, it's something I Let's Play, so we go through the game from start to finish at different intervals rather than just doing one live stream and, you know, maybe I faff about for a bit because I don't know what I'm doing, or would you prefer to see me faff about? It'd be silly. So please let me know if you think a Let's Play, I'd probably do both, like I'll obviously do live streams and Let's Plays, but whether starting with a Let's Play or starting with a live stream for Fire Emblem Warriors would be better, because I will do both, but I'd like to know where to begin with. I think it'd be pretty cool. And then, like, anytime I can make a joke in one of the main videos, all of you who tuned in would get the joke. Like, I don't know, maybe we start the game and something really weird happens. Also, something I thought would happen but didn't, because at the beginning, Sane mentions asking him to be in the fight so he could fight this guy. I thought Sane would have dialogue, but he doesn't, so I was like, okay, that's weird. You ask me to put you in the fight to fight this guy, and you say nothing for him. As a boss, he's not too hard. I mean, if your team didn't get particularly good level ups like mine did, he can be kind of difficult. But then you've got loads of ways to get around him. Like, you know, you have Lynn's Madikadi and Armor Slayer. You've got Eliwood's Rapier. You know, there's many ways to get around this guy. Oh yeah, there are secret shops in the area. 2, in fact, which is interesting because most Fire Emblem maps that have secret shops only have 1. The thing is about secret shops is that they're not particularly outstanding. I mean, they've got killer stuff, which is great. But most secret shops in like the GBA era and Fire Emblem, you think they sell like really good weapons, like, you know, like silver blades, like just like that. I gotta retract my statement now, but like they sell like the really, really fancy weapons, like the Axe Reavers and the Lance Reavers and the Sword Reavers, or they sell like the promotion items. Here, not so much. It's probably why there's 2 of them. It's quality more than quantity, but you know, what are you gonna do? And also I noticed Fire Emblem 7, because there's not, like, in a few more chapters we get another secret shop, and I do notice this game does quite like to use its secret shops, but, you know, what are you going to do? The more secret shops, the better. But anyway, shit's starting to get down with the story. And all this talking is making my mouth dry. That's why I'm so glad I have my water on standby. Speaking of live stream, thing is, before I start doing the Fire Emblem Warriors one, because I've never done live streams before, and I don't exactly know how they work. I mean, I'll watch other people to see what they do. But what game do you guys think would be good to start with, in terms of it would be easy for me to just talk, not only just talk about the game, but easy to live stream. It's something everyone would probably really enjoy. And, you know, it's easy to set up and stuff. There's no complicated bullshit with the console in particular. So if you let me know what live stream you guys would like to see me do for a test, because, you know, I'm open to all suggestions. Just please don't ask for it late. You know, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because then everyone will ask for it. So, you know, let me know what you think would be a good place to start, like just for a practice live stream, just everyone can get down with, and then we get to the real thing when Warriors comes out. I'd like to know that. Again, fan input's how your channels evolve. Is there anything else left? Aside from something to talk about. I do have notes. Oh, another thing I want to ask you about. I mentioned about the October thing, about how we might do into Halloween games. If you want, feel free to suggest some Halloween games, because even though the ones I've suggested I've already played, which is like, you know, I already have knowledge, so we can have some really cool Let's Plays. But if there's so many games out there which you think are really good for the Halloween mood, then feel free to suggest them, because like, especially if it's a game we've not played, because I'll let you know right now, I have not played Dead Space, so if you guys think seeing the raw reaction of someone in Dead Space would be pretty cool for the Halloween vibe, or maybe you want to see us play Slender or Five Nights at Freddy's, or maybe just like Splatterhouse, or maybe we could tackle another series that we played, like go back to Castlevania for Halloween. So, you know, let me know. And yeah, Jafar's here, so of course someone is going to die. In this case, 2 people. So yeah, again, Jafar, man, every time you show up, more people die. Everyone just like, has this weird thing with him. If I appear on screen, someone has to die. Could be anyone, but, you know. Like they say that, return to Byron. It's not burn. It's so weird. I'm surprised he said just let them leave. It's like, well, they're right here. They're the only thing stopping us. Maybe we should kill them. Nah. You need a redemption arc, Jafar. Go forth. One last thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah. Something I was saying in regards to Fire Emblem Warriors sales was that it's getting a lack of hype. And that also, I was thinking the same thing when, and oh god, Eliwood's dad is tripping balls right now, and I think Eliwood is too. That background is just, and Hector as well, oh god. Everyone's, Nini, oh god, Ninian's eyes, she is definitely tripping. She's sniffing the power. Oh, that's some good power. Oh god, yeah. So doesn't end well for Eliwood's dad. I'll tell you right now. But I'll talk about Eliwood's arc a bit later. Towards the end. And again, Fire Emblem 7, there's so many portraits in this game. I think there's more than there are Sacred Stones and Binding Blade combined, and I like it because it gives it a more cinematic feel, and it makes more characters feel important, because you get a lot of portraits with just Lyn, Eliwood, and Hector, but also the side characters too, and I really like that. But as I was saying, Fire Emblem Warriors, I said because of a lack of build-up, there's not much because it got announced in January and it's released in October. There's not that much time to build up hype, because like other games like Fate's got like a whole year's worth of build-up, like to get the hype going and get people interested. Echo's got a really short time. Came out in May. We got like what 4 or 5 months, which probably explains why it didn't sell too well, aside from the other things holding it back. So I wonder if at this point in time, because they've also got Fire Emblem Switch coming out presumably next year, and I don't know when they're going to fully announce it. Like they're going to show off like early 2018 and then release it like summer 2018 or late 2018. I'm wondering if Nintendo are kind of jumping the gun and making too many Fire Emblem games. Not to say I don't like the stuff they've got, like Heroes is wonderful, I love Echoes. Yeah, I do love the game, even though it has problems, and I have no doubt I'll enjoy Fire Emblem Warriors. But because they're rushing so many things out, some parts of these games have some really glaring issues. Not to say others don't, like, come on, Fate's a fucking Awakening, you know, they have definitely glaring issues, but like, Echo's glaring issue was that it was too hard, trying too hard to be Gaiden. Heroes is a different case, that's a mobile game, and that's more just a case of, it's really against the free-to-play model, or free-to-play players, and this guy's dead, Purple Dude. Purple Dude is dead because the dragon exploded, and he got sucked back through the portal. Yeah, so that was the whole thing. Nagal used Ninian and stuff to bring forth the dragons. I don't know what it is about Ninian, maybe she has a really nice perfume that calls the dragons towards them. Nils, he has a deodorant, but it's not as good. She has like Sure Dragon, it won't let you down. Or Sure Dragon, it makes everything better. So I was wondering if Nintendo are kind of jumping the gun with Fire Emblem back because of how popular it is. The guy's just like, what? And suddenly I've been stabbed. Impossible, why am I getting killed by someone who just kind of there? Well, even though he's not dying, he's just injured. It's funny how Nagal in this one bit doesn't seem that much of a threat, but once he comes back, things gonna take a massive turn. So, I don't know Nintendo, because I know Fire Emblem is popular once again. I know what they're doing is trying to please people, and spin-offs are fine, especially because it was like a Tokyo Mirage Session, but that was, that feels like so much of not a Fire Emblem game. Half the time I forget about it. So I wonder if Nintendo are kind of jumping the gun with Fire Emblem and are just trying to release as many games as possible rather than taking their time. Because if you think back, I think there was a good 3-year gap between Awakening and Fates, and even before then there was a big gap. Path of Radiance was 2005. Well, that was a sequel, but generally Fire Emblem games generally have better spacing between each game. I mean, GBA era was like 1 year between, but they did kind of reuse all the assets and stuff like that. But because games are now getting harder to develop and Fire Emblem's getting bigger and they're trying to tell more epic stories, I think it might be a better idea to slow things down, to try and, instead of just like making loads and loads and loads of games and then having backlash for certain reasons. I mean, every game's going to get backlash at the end of the day, but with these ones, especially the way Heroes is going, it's not Heroes, Thingy's going. Warriors is going. I think Nintendo might be jumping the gun a bit, because if Warriors comes out and there's not a lot of content, then I'm literally going to say, Nintendo, you rushed this game out just to make a buck, because the lack of characters and lack of content is evidence of that. So anyway, thank you all for joining me for this part. When we next come back, we're gonna have a bit of a therapy session for the group. Hopefully I'll have Zane or Olivia back with me. I thank you all for sticking through this with me and just listening to me ramble on and on and on. And so in the next part, we're going to talk about why I think Eliwood's character is really good. I didn't get to talk about it in this part because I kind of got carried away, as well as the relationship with Ninian. And we just we start we also just our morals down, but we're going to raise it right back up. But until then, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.